Our next story is about Novak Djokovic. He's playing to win his 10th Australian Open, his 22nd Grand Slam title. If he wins, he'll be tied with Nadal at the very top. But this story is not about his tennis. It's about the endless controversy surrounding him. Not very long ago, Novak Djokovic was deported from Australia. Now his father may meet the same fate. Our next report tells you why. Novak Djokovic is through to the finals of the Australian Open. But there was one important person missing in his camp. His father, Serjan. He skipped watching his son inch closer to making history and preferred to watch the match from the confines of his home. That's after a video of the father emerged recently. It showed him posing with fans at Melbourne Park with Russian flags. It caused quite a stir, and it's doing the rounds on social media. It shows a fan holding a Russian flag with Vladimir Putin's image on it. Photos also showed a fan with a large Z written on his shirt. All of this is controversial. The letter Z has made headlines in the Ukraine war. Russian forces have been using it on their vehicles. Those who support Russia's actions have also been sporting it. And Serjan Djokovic was seen posing with these Russian fans. When he realized it could spell trouble, he issued a statement. He said, and I quote, "I'm here to support my son only. I had no intention of causing such headlines or disruption." His superstar son refused to get dragged into the controversy. Novak Djokovic declined to comment. That was not a luxury that the Australian Prime Minister had. He was asked about the controversy and he reiterated Australia's support for Ukraine.
I'll make this point, that Australia stands with the people of Ukraine. That's Australia's position. And Australia is unequivocal in our support for the rule of international law, and we don't want to see any support given to the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Will the father of Novak Djokovic be deported from Australia? Prime Minister Albanese did not answer that. The fans seen here have been questioned. Police say they were carrying inappropriate flags and symbols. The incident took place at the Australian Open. It was after the quarter-final match between Djokovic and Russia's Andrei Rublev. You see, Russian and Belarusian athletes are allowed to compete in this tournament, but they must play as individual athletes. They cannot play with any national affiliation. So their flags are banned from the tournament grounds. And if the senior Djokovic seems to be making the headlines for the wrong reasons in 2023, in 2022, it was his son Novak. The Serb found himself in the eye of the storm over his COVID vaccination status. This was at the 2022 Australian Open. Djokovic was infamously deported on the eve of the tournament last year for not being vaccinated against COVID. His image took quite a hit. He was labelled an anti-vaxxer, someone who's opposed to vaccination. Australia also handed Djokovic a 3-year travel ban, but it was withdrawn in November last year when COVID rules were relaxed. That's how he could make it for this year's tournament. He says he holds no grudges for what happened last year.
In a way, if I do hold the grudges and probably if I'm not able to move on, I wouldn't be here, you know. And also I have to say that the amount of positive experiences I had in Australia overwhelmed the negative experience maybe of last year. So, you know, my impression of Australia, my vision of Australia has always been very positive.
So while Novak Djokovic continues to do what he does best, hit a tennis ball, he can only hope that his off-court antics do not derail his dream once again. After all, he's just one win away from making history.